solved. Well, we're coming out here to do a little bit of work in the garden, and just wanted to show you what I did yesterday. Yesterday I came out here to get a little peace and be reflective, but I worked on the compost. I took all the compost out, and I put some underneath the lemon. Look at how nice and dark that is. That turned out really great. Put a little under the mandarin and a little under the apple. And today I have to add some water to all this stuff, but the other thing I want to do is prune and take off leaves like this, just some of them, and that'll all go in the compost bin. I only compost plants that I grow. I don't compost weeds because look at these fireballs, are so pretty. I don't compost weeds because I have found that seeds actually germinate compost, and we don't want to germinate weed seeds. So we're gonna get some of these bad leaves off. We're gonna add some water, and our blackberry, it's hanging in there. It doesn't seem to mind the spot too much. I do have another possible location if it doesn't take off here. The other spot I'm thinking of putting that is over here where the tomatoes are. You hear the quail talking to me. Yeah, over in this corner, it would still get sun, but not quite as much sun. Sometimes when things say they like full sun, they mean full sun in California. Oh, look at our feverfew, that's flowering now. And this yarrow, ready to dehydrate some of this boy. And our carrots are going to seed. Boy, am I behind. I need to pick some of this stuff. But one thing at a time. Green beans, we had some green beans in our salad. There wasn't really enough to cook. Just to cook as green beans yesterday. And you can see I recovered this apple tree, right? But you're welcome to join me this evening. We'll just spend a little bit of time working out here, and I'm putting you in my pocket. You're probably getting a good view of the pomegranate tree right now. See how much you can see when I'm doing it this way. Oh, that's interesting. It looks like part of the bougainvillea broke off. That's quite interesting. It's very unusual. All right, maybe Mr. Painter was helping me with pruning. You never know. All right. So this would probably be easiest if we used a bucket. I feel like when you have dead leaves that it takes away from the plant ability to continue growing because it's going to try to heal the leaves just like our body tries to heal itself. So let's get rid of some of these leaves that are damaged thanks to the bugs. The squash has got a beautiful flower on it. And we'll just use this to start our compost again because it's that time of the year where you can make a lot of compost in this heat. And we need more. And I'm going to prune this blackberry a little bit too. Get these other more damaged leaves off here so we're working with healthy leaves. That's interesting. This tomato, there was a tomato here before and I thought it died, but it actually looks like it survived. And this one over here has got quite a bit of bad leaves. Let's get them taken care of. Also, I'm assuming the bug population is on those, so if we prune these, there's some bugs too. I don't think they fare very well with the compost bin, bugs, because it gets hot, and that's what makes it work. Ooh, look at that. We have some ripe figs. I'm going to be picking those because if I don't, you know what's going to get them? Birds. So good. Look up there. See that? That one's really ripe. This one's really ripe. Yep, these are going in our breakfast before the birds get any more of them. Don't want them to be overripe either. And so figs will not get more ripe once you pick them, but they only really last for a few days. So only pick as many as you can eat in a few days. You don't want to waste them. So far so good. You know, last year I didn't have any problems with squash bugs until the point where I harvested my onions and garlic. So this year I'm actually going to let those onions and garlics go because, I mean, go as in I'm going to let them go to seed. I'm going to dump the seed in the garden, and I'm going to leave them in the garden because, man, those squash bugs are so hard to deal with. It's so gross. My husband actually killed like 100 of them in a day once because we try not to use too much pesticides because we know those things are bad for you, right? For the most part, we only use the treatment for the borers of the trees because you have to. You don't have any choice. Those borers will eat your trees from the ground up. I mean, possibly not all the trees, but definitely like things like apricots. It's this poor tree. It's still here. It actually looks pretty happy this year. It made some beautiful fruits. We decided to give it a little more time, give it a chance. You know, maybe. And if not, I have some seeds that I'm trying to germinate. I'm cold stratifying right now. I have them in a damp towel. I cracked the kernel open and have them in a damp towel in the refrigerator. And 3 of them, I could tell, actually were already trying to make like a root. So there's a huge potential there. Now this celery is trying to go to seed. I have like so much of it going. And initially these stalks, if you get them right away when they first start getting thick like this, you can actually eat those. They're not that tough, but as time goes on, as you start getting these flowers on here, it's going to be tough. So I'm actually thinking we're going to put this in our compost. And I'd really like to just band this celery. I'd like to band it and see if I can make it bunch a little bit. Because for starters, I'd hope to have more than one thing growing out here, but with this all fanned out like it is, there's no light getting to any of the peppers that I put out here, so that plan didn't work out so good. Oh, we got another carrot. I'm gonna have to harvest some carrots here. I think that's gonna be tomorrow. Today is gonna be our gym day, and so I only have a limited amount of time this morning out here, and we have to get together with some friends later today, which is really wonderful too. I think your friendships are an important thing to invest in. It's supposed to be a longevity trait, spending time with friends. It may be even more so for women. Right. Now this one here, this one hasn't flowered, so we can still eat that stalk. This one here, it's going to be tough, so let's just take that out, and it's going to make great compost. The one bug I haven't really figured out how to deal with is the spider mites. And you can tell the spider mites by the leaves. When you start getting these little white spots like that, that's from the spider mites. So, and they're microscopic, and actually, much to my dismay, I'm finding that there's some on the hydroponic stands. So I guess we're going to have to learn how to live with those or work around them because they pretty much can't get rid of them. At least I haven't succeeded. There are some homeopathic treatments that I might try. As far as the hydroponic stands go, I'm actually, once I get back from my trip to Alaska, I'm actually going to take those apart and I will bleach my styrofoam and bleach my trays and wipe down the surfaces really good, because hopefully that would eliminate any that were on the surfaces. And that's only for the affected trays. Like some of this stuff looks perfectly fine, but I saw some of those buggers they're really small, but if they're healthy and they're thriving, they actually grow, and that's when you can see them. But they are tiny, tiny, tiny. So if you had bad vision, you'd probably totally miss them. But I'm pretty blessed at this point. I actually have pretty decent vision. Thankful for that. And this is the fennel that's going to seed. And these blooms make great vinegar. And they are actually pretty good in that wine that we have brewing. I've been filtering that wine and bottling it. I'm going to put it in the pantry probably till Thanksgiving, right? About Thanksgiving it should be ready to try. But we had a little sip of it. It's kind of really light, a little more like champagne. Not precisely, so don't get too excited, but I think it's going to be pretty good. Rose petals, fennel, basil. definitely don't need any more celery growing. And this celery is actually perennial. It will just keep making celery from the base. So we don't want any of this going to seed for sure, because we don't need any more celery. It made a fabulous soup though, with the cashew milk and the butter and the celery and the salt and pepper and the canned chicken and the chicken broth. Oh my gosh, it's super delicious. It's all over here. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could harvest celery seed, but that's a little tedious, I think, at least for me anyway. And apparently we have a carrot growing down in here. There's actually a lot of carrots. Like, look at these. These I need to pick, right? Those are about ready to be eaten. At least one of them anyway. These need to be thinned. It's pretty much having a garden. It's work. It's peaceful. Something I really enjoy. And one thing I learned yesterday is you've got to stay hydrated. I actually came out and I spent some time. I just needed some quality time to myself, really, out here. But I was outside in the heat for quite a while trying to get some work done. And this morning I woke up with a Charlie horse, and I think that basically means that I was dehydrated. So watch that with the heat. Watch getting dehydrated or being outside working for too long, because that can definitely happen this time of the year. All right, let's go over and dump this in our compost bin. Hey, our green tea plants are still looking pretty happy down here. They're in with the Norwegian spinach. I'm thrilled about that because I love green tea. It's one of my favorite drinks. This almond's pretty hardy. It's done really well. We've never really had any problems with it. And since I did that really big pruning, it's actually put on a lot of almonds comparatively. This of the compost bins, I have two of them. That one here, this one here. This one's my favorite. It's actually the easiest as far as like sliding the top open. It's a lot less effort involved. Oops. Put that in there. There we go. Get more compost going so we can put more on more of the trees, right? And this pomegranate is just doing phenomenal. These things here, they're super hardy. They do great with the heat. They are no problem at all. We're not losing any of these from water, and that is such a blessing. This is our Stella cherry. So far, so good. And we planted it strategically. It's over here where it gets the morning sun and gets a little bit of a break, kind of like our tomatoes over here. But you really have to think about where you plant stuff when you live in a climate like this, because too much heat will take your trees out. But if you plant them strategically, there's a good possibility that you might be able to grow something that you didn't really expect to be able to grow. The hardest part, I would say, is one, figuring out the location you're going to plant it, and two, figuring out the water. Because I can actually see that the kumquats even drop some of the fruit. So a little more water for everything is what it's going to take, I think. And this is a carrot that's gone to seed. It's pretty. And the hummingbirds actually like these too, which is pretty cool. I know I don't want all of my carrots going to seed, but on the other side, I'll have plenty of carrot seeds, right? And on that note, I hope you enjoyed watching us this morning. Oh, somebody's asking me. Oh, let me see if I can look at the comments here. Let me just look at this. Looks like I've got a box that popped up. How do I get rid of this? Okay, there we go. Hue? Okay, whatever. Not sure what that's about. Fruit trees. No, we don't have any guava. Yeah, you know what? Mango won't make it here. I actually started one from seed, and our winter temperatures get too cold. We have pomegranates over here. There's 2 pomegranates back there. We have this apple. We actually have 2 apples. This is an Anna apple, and it's done pretty well. And you can see I have it covered with nets because unfortunately something was eating the apples, and we don't want to feed the wildlife, especially not the wildlife that was getting in there. And this is an almond. This is an all-in-one almond, so it's self-pollinating. It doesn't need a partner, which is good because we actually have a relatively small yard. You can see it's putting on all these almonds, which is wonderful. This is our Meyer lemon. I think a Eureka lemon would do better because this one definitely needs a lot of water comparatively. But we are getting some lemons. There's one here. There's one here. Unfortunately, a lot dropped off. See that right there? That means it wasn't getting enough water because these, if they were going to self-select to fall, they should have fallen long before they got to be that big. There was actually quite a few. I'm sorry to say that helped. There's one down there. Can you see that one? So we do have quite a few setting on. We just didn't adequately judge the water needs of the tree. Up there's another one. That one might make it. If they start getting light colored when they're small, it's not a good sign. That basically means that it's going to drop. And there's some more over here. Where did I see those at yesterday? There we go. There's some more here, there. I think there's some more over here. Yeah, that one's getting light colored too. It might not make it. So Meyer lemon, if you live in the desert, you probably want to use a Eureka. What's cool about the Meyers is they actually have this, the skin tastes good. And figs, anybody can grow figs here. Figs are totally tolerant of this desert heat. This is another apple. I think it's a delicious. It's just now fruiting for the first time for us this year. See that? There's a few in there. I'm not sure how many there are, but it's fruiting. We have a kumquat, and this can do quite well. But I'm seeing this morning that it has dropped some fruit. You can see the fruit is actually pretty small right now. It's let's see if I can point to it. Right down there, those little pointy green things, that's the fruit setting on. So we're gonna put some more water on this today. And this is pistachio. The thing about pistachios is it takes a long time, like 10 to 20 years to get them to fruit. So, or to put nuts on. So if you're 80, you might not want to plant a pistachio. I figure I'm almost 60. I got a little time for that. And this is an apricot. And the apricot makes beautiful apricots. It did get attacked by boars. So unfortunately, we're trying to keep it alive. I don't know if we'll be able to. It looks pretty happy right now. So we haven't given up on it yet because the apricots are so delicious. But those are the fruit trees. Mano, is that how you say your name? Mano Logan? Thanks for asking. We are in the southwest desert of Nevada. Yeah, I'm almost 60. Yep. Anna apple, I don't know where that originally comes from. I just saw that it was self-pollinating, and it kind of grows a little more like a bush. Whereas this delicious apple is going to grow more like a tree. It's pretty interesting how that works. And that's another thing that's different with, we have a mandarin too. This hasn't fruited yet, but another interesting thing about the Meyer lemon, it doesn't come up on a single stalk like the Eureka. It actually comes up with multiple branches from the bottom. And it's good to prune it at the base to keep the foliage off the bottom because you don't want it hanging in the dirt, right? Anyway, thanks for joining me this morning. I hope you enjoyed our garden, and I hope you have a blessed day. Thanks for watching.